Why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the salad dressing. Get it? Salad dressing, tomatoes. Okay, moving on. Welcome to our deliciously funny journey into the life of a chef. Imagine a world where you juggle knives, tangle with temperamental ovens, and live in constant fear of the dreaded burnt toast smell. It's not just about chopping and sautéing, folks. So if you've ever wondered what a chef's life is really like, buckle up for this roller coaster ride. Chefs, the superheroes of the culinary world, with their capes made of aprons and magic wands as spatulas. They may not be able to fly, but they certainly make our taste buds soar with delight. Imagine a world where the chef is the unsung hero, battling the forces of bland flavors, dull ingredients, and monotonous meals. With their trusty spatulas and whisks, they create culinary masterpieces that save us from the clutches of hunger. What does a day in the life of a chef look like, you ask? Well, it's not all just chopping and sautéing. It's more like conducting an orchestra where the kitchen is the stage and the food is the symphony. They juggle between the sizzling pans, the boiling pots, and the sharp knives, all while ensuring that every dish that leaves the kitchen is a work of art. It's like being in a comedy of errors where the chef is the star performer. They might find themselves in the most absurd situations, like that one time when a chef had to whip up a gourmet meal using nothing but canned beans and instant noodles, or that other time when they had to serve a four-course meal to a cat. Yes, a cat! But being a chef isn't all fun and games. It's a profession that demands a lot of hard work, dedication, and a dash of creativity. In places like San Francisco Bay Area, chefs can earn an average salary of around $82,000 a year. Not too shabby for a job where you get to play with food, right? But it's not just about the money. It's about the love for food and the joy of creating something that brings people together. It's about the satisfaction of seeing someone's eyes light up as they take the first bite of a dish that you've poured your heart into. And here's a surprising fact that few people know about chefs. They are quite the scholars. Yes, you heard it right. Chefs need to be well-versed in various cooking techniques, understand the science behind food, and even have a good grasp of mathematics. So the next time you enjoy a scrumptious meal at a restaurant, remember the unsung hero behind it. The chef, the culinary superhero who braved the heat of the kitchen to bring you a piece of gastronomic heaven, and you thought your job was tough. What's the price of a delicious meal? Well, in San Francisco, it's about $82,000 a year. Yes, you heard that right. That's the average salary of a chef in the Bay Area. But don't pack your knives and cutting boards just yet. The cost of living there might just eat up a good chunk of that. Over on the East Coast, in the bustling city of New York, chefs earn around $60,000 annually. While the Big Apple might be known for its dollar pizza slices, trust me, the price of fine dining does not come cheap. And in the rest of the United States, a chef typically earns about $47,000 a year. That's a lot of dough, and I'm not just talking about pizza here. So next time you enjoy a fancy meal, remember someone's sweating it out in the kitchen for that. Ever wondered what it takes to don that white apron? It's not just a piece of fabric. Oh no, it's a symbol of culinary prowess, a badge of honor, and the result of surviving the culinary equivalent of boot camp. You see, becoming a chef isn't as simple as being able to whip up a mean spaghetti bolognese. Firstly, you need an education in the culinary arts. Think it's all about fancy knife skills and plating techniques? Think again. You'll be diving into the science of food, nutrition, and even accounting. Yes, you heard right, accounting. Because let's face it, a chef who can't manage their food costs is about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Then there's the licenses and certifications. Food handler's card, certified sous chef, certified executive chef, the list goes on. It's like collecting culinary Pokemon, and you gotta catch them all. Just remember, these aren't just pretty pieces of paper. They're your passport to the culinary world, your ticket to the big leagues. But here's the kicker. Even after all that, you're not quite there yet. No, you still have to survive the trials and tribulations of culinary school. Imagine being covered in flour, burns on your hands, and an instructor who seems to have taken Gordon Ramsay as a role model. Fun, right? Well, if your idea of fun is a pressure cooker set to maximum, then yes, it is. What's more surprising, though, is that after all the blood, sweat, and tears, most chefs wouldn't change a thing. They thrive on the chaos, the creativity, the chance to make someone's day with a plate of food. It's a calling, a passion, a lifestyle. So, you see, the apron is earned, not given. It's a testament to the dedication, hard work, and sheer determination it takes to ascend the culinary ladder. And let's not forget the ability to withstand the heat, literally. After all, if you can't stand the heat, best stay out of the kitchen. Chefs weren't always the cool, flamboyant artists we see today. Imagine this. Back in the ancient times, chefs were merely servants who cooked meals for royalty. They didn't have the luxury of fancy stainless steel appliances or exotic ingredients from around the world. They had to make do with what was available, and yet they managed to create dishes that have stood the test of time. Fast forward a few centuries to the Middle Ages, when chefs were part of guilds. Yes, you heard that right. Guilds, like in your favorite medieval fantasy games. They were just as secretive too, guarding their recipes like precious treasure. Imagine a burly, bearded chef in a dark alley whispering, "Psst, want to know the secret to a perfect beef stew?" Now, let's jet set to the 19th century, the era of Escoffier. Known as the king of chefs and the chef of kings, Escoffier revolutionized French cuisine and laid the foundations of what we know as the modern kitchen brigade system. He was like the Dumbledore of the culinary world, but instead of casting spells, he was crafting recipes. In the 20th century, chefs began to gain recognition as celebrities, thanks to the advent of television. Julia Child, anyone? Her show, The French Chef, was the first of its kind, making French cuisine accessible to American households. She was more than just a chef. She was a pioneer, an educator, and an entertainer. Today, chefs are seen as creative geniuses, innovators, and trendsetters. They experiment with flavors, invent new techniques, and redefine what food can be. From molecular gastronomy to farm-to-table movements, chefs are at the forefront, leading the charge. But let's not forget, they still have to endure the heat of the kitchen, the pressure of perfection, and the occasional flying pan. It's a tough job, but as the saying goes, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. So the next time you enjoy a delectable dish, remember the centuries of evolution that have shaped the hands that prepared it. Who knew history could taste so good? Chefs do more than just feed us, they shape our society. Imagine a world without the culinary wizardry of chefs. It's a gloomy picture, isn't it? No artisanal bread, no gourmet burgers, and let's not even get started on the lack of avocado toast. But chefs do more than just keep us from a life of endless cereal and toast. They're societal influencers, shaping our culture and addressing important issues through food. Take food trends, for instance. Remember when quinoa was just a difficult word to pronounce? Now it's a staple in every health-conscious home, thanks to innovative chefs who saw its potential and brought it to our plates. And who can forget the great kale takeover of 2012? You couldn't open a menu without seeing this leafy green making a guest appearance. And it's not just about setting food trends. Chefs use their platforms to highlight important issues too. They've brought attention to sustainable farming practices, ethical sourcing, and food waste reduction. They've made us question where our food comes from and how our choices can impact the world around us. Chefs also play a significant role in cultural exchange. They introduce us to flavors from around the world, broadening our palates and our understanding of different cultures. Without them, we'd probably still think sushi was just raw fish and that tacos were only for Tuesdays. But perhaps the most important way chefs impact society is through their ability to bring people together. Food is a universal language, and chefs are the translators. They create experiences that turn a simple meal into an event, a gathering, a celebration. They craft dishes that evoke memories and create new ones, bridging gaps between generations and cultures. So the next time you're biting into a delicately prepared dish, think about the chef behind it. The one who's not just feeding you, but shaping society, one plate at a time. So chefs are not just tastemakers, but trendsetters too. Being a chef is not all about the glamour and the glitz. It's also about burns, cuts, and onion tears. Now let's dive into the hazards of the job, where cooking disasters are the order of the day, and kitchen mishaps are the seasoning on top. Imagine this. You're working on a masterpiece, a culinary symphony, if you will. You've got your searing hot pan, your perfectly marinated steak, and then the pan slips. Suddenly, you're doing a flaming tango with a piece of meat. It's not quite the dance routine you had in mind for the evening. Or how about those sneaky onions? They seem so innocent, nestled in the corner of your chopping board. But the moment your knife hits their skin, they unleash a torrent of tears that would put any soap opera to shame. And let's not even get started on the garlic. Its aroma lingers like an overly attached ex, refusing to leave your hands no matter how many times you wash them. And then there are the cuts. Oh, the cuts. Each one a little badge of honor, a testament to your battles in the kitchen. They happen so fast you don't even notice them until you're reaching for the salt. And then, boy, do you notice. But let's not forget about the heat. The kitchen is a hot place, and I'm not just talking about the latest food trends. I mean, have you ever tried to pull a roast out of a 400-degree oven without singing your eyebrows? It's a feat that even the most seasoned chefs struggle with. So why do chefs put up with it all? Well, there's something incredibly rewarding about creating a dish that brings a smile to someone's face. It's about taking simple ingredients and transforming them into something extraordinary. It's about the love of food, the passion for creativity, and the desire to make people happy through their taste buds. So, the next time your dinner is slightly burnt, remember it's a hazard of the job. And maybe, just maybe, it adds a little extra flavor to your meal. Before we close the kitchen for today, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Your support is the secret ingredient that keeps us cooking up these delicious pieces of content. Now we've had quite a journey today, haven't we? From the chaotic dance of the kitchen to the surprising paychecks in different cities, all the way to the hazards that could rival any action movie. So tell us, what surprised you the most about the day in the life of a chef? Is it the culinary acrobatics or the unexpected historical influences? Or maybe it's the realization that chefs are indeed the unsung heroes of our daily lives. Whatever it may be, we're eager to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and let's get a conversation sizzling. Until next time, keep your aprons ready and your spatulas handy.